Hi, my name's Phil. I'd like to come out of politics. And this weekend, the government announced the rollout across every local authority in England. Community support hubs called Best Start, deliberately very similar to the name Shorestart, which were similar centres which the last Labour government launched, which were stunningly successful, very popular, and the Tories obliterated. Is this going to be the start of a year of much more positive announcements from Labour to contrast with the year of mostly doom and gloom that they've been very unwisely trying to sell? Let us hope so. But first, for daily news and politics, please click the subscribe button to stay notified. So happy Monday and some great news to kickstart the week. Shorestart Centres are coming back. New name, sort of. So for those who may be unaware or have forgotten, what were Shorestart Centres? Why were they so great, basically? Why did the Tories abolish them, and why is Labour bringing them back? Such a great move. So never mind the so-called Westminster bubble. Right? The politicians, journalists and associated political commentators, like for ordinary struggling people, when you think back to the achievements of the last Labour government, it's not making the Bank of England independent or winning Labour's first and second ever re-election. It was the Shorestart Centres. Shorestart Centres in England, which also existed in Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland with different names, created community centres to deliver services focused on parents of preschool age children. It combined things like health services, parental advice, early learning advice, in order to boost the life chances of children in struggling households. See, by the time a child enters mainstream education at 5 years old, some of them are close to 6, some could be very far behind the rest of the class. So Labour designed these centres to help parents make sure that their children were caught up. So it was basically helping the parents and children who struggled with one or more issues. And they weren't just a good idea, they were impressively effective. A 2019 study by the Institute for Fiscal Studies found that Shorestart Centres noticeably reduced hospital visits for primary school age children, and by a huge amount, it's like a third fewer for 11-year-olds. It saved millions of pounds for the NHS. In fact, studies have suggested that Shorestart Centres actually paid for themselves. The savings they provided for other public services more than compensated for the costs. So it was not a sound economic decision for the Tories to strangle their budgets until there was nothing left of the centres. Getting rid of Shorestart Centres will actually have cost the Conservative government more public money in other areas. So I can only conclude that the Tories did it because they are catastrophically thick, or they did it maliciously because it was a service aimed at helping poor people. But it was an act of sabotage on the nation. Shorestart provably led to children being fitter and healthier, and so grow up fitter and healthier as they entered the workplace. What sort of government sabotages that just because they can't bear to see services being used to help families in poverty? But they're coming back. They seem to be having a bit of a rebrand to Best Start Centres, which is actually what they were called in Scotland at the time. Perhaps the reason for the rebrand is just to bring them in line because they were never actually abolished in Scotland. Although, correct me if I'm wrong, I do think they changed the name. But anyway, it doesn't matter what they're called. The fact is, they were a stunning success on every level for the last Labour government, economically, socially, electorally, because they were popular. The absolute trifactor of a government policy, what you want. The Tories destroyed them. Now a Labour government are bringing them back again. The Tories had the nerve to say that Labour aren't making it clear what's new about it. It's not new, you tossers. It's just bringing back what they destroyed. Though the services will, of course, be updated for the modern day. It is possible the Tories are trying to angle themselves to claim credit because Rishi Sunak, literally just before the election, hastily created what he called family hubs last year as a pale imitation of what they destroyed. But there were only 400 of those. They offered a more basic range of services. When Tory Laura Kunsberg asked Education Secretary Bridget Phillipson, who has personal experience working with the original centres, if they were just a continuation of the Tory policy, Phillipson said that they would include more services. It will also include more centres as well, 1,000 by the end of 2028. The original Shorestart Centres had over 3,500 before the Tories chopped them. It's a shame Phillipson didn't tell Laura that a pre-election attempt to bring back a shadow of Labour's glorious Shorestart Centres was nothing to even mention, much less crow about. These Shorestart Centres could be even better than the originals. See, Labour are also keen to bring more healthcare services from central hospitals to local communities. So there's a massive potential here to link up with a lot of services in a very accessible way. has the makings of a real sea change in the way people can access help in their local areas. It's always more effective to bring multiple services together, not just because it's more efficient. You can catch more people in need. Someone comes into the centre for one thing, could transpire they could benefit from help in other areas as well. Well, there they are. It's all there, fully accessible in one place, making it easy for those who need it. The driving mission behind the Shorestart Centres was to make sure that children do not get left behind because of their backgrounds. Labour at the time even ran the slogan, "No child left behind." I was a teacher at the time. It was a central message running through everything we did under the last Labour government. So why did the Tories get rid of it? Well, the Conservatives do not take a national interest view of things. Conservatism is run according to the motto, greed is good. It's all about the self. Pull the ladder up, Jack, I'm all right. They send their kids to private schools in order to give them the best chance in life, right? That's what they say. It's about aspiration, going to private school. But another way to give their kids an easier ride is not just privileged education, but pulling their rivals down. So they remove funding from state education. After all, they don't need it. Their kids don't go there. As well as any other public services which could develop ordinary people's children into rivals for their own hellspawn. So although their defunding of Sure Starts may have been stupidity, I'm minded to think probably more malice. They see it as a way of helping to give an advantage to their own, but it comes at a cost to the country. It is depriving the country of fitter, healthier and smarter workers. It's selfish. So these new centres, which will be better than the original Sure Start because they're going to link up with community health centres as well, be a huge boost. They will be a boost to the parents and children who benefit. The original Sure Start centres actually saved money, so will these, but they will work electorally as well, or they should do. If there are going to be 1,000 set up by 2028, that means there will be communities benefiting before the expected date of the next general election. Labour need to be shouting about these centres now and throughout their implementation. Every time a new one's being built, shout about it. Every time one's completed, shout about it. First people through the door, emphasise it. Mind you, I will say they are making one mistake with their announcement about these centres. They should be making something else clear as well. The last Labour government brought in Sure Start centres like these. Current parents of infants won't remember, but get them to ask their parents. Remind them how the Tories destroyed them and make it clear that if they want them to carry on, do not let the Tories or Tories' racist younger brother into government, or they'll be gone just as quickly as last time. But yesterday, Bridget Phillipson said, oh, they're going to be so deeply embedded that neither the Tories nor Reform will be able to get rid of them. Well, two things. First of all, that's nonsense. Reform UK are going to follow the MAGA protocols. They'll not be prevented from removing something just because it will be unpopular. They'll get rid of them instantly. Second, what's the benefit in saying this? To Labour. Labour get electoral advantage out of warning that their good work can be destroyed if they lose power, just like last time. What benefit do they get by saying that their work will last forever no matter who wins the election? That's basically like saying, we're going to do all this great stuff, but then it's safe to vote Reform UK because it'll still be there. Can Labour seriously get some political advisors in with all haste? Because this is just tragic. However, assuming they learn how to do politics before the election, this is still a really positive move. Labour need to increase the volume on these best start centres. Also, keep talking about them. Don't let this be a one-time thing where Bridget Phillipson talks about them a bit on a Sunday afternoon and then the government expect the public to all magically know about them. Keep bringing them up all the time. If they're going to be 1,000 by 2028, that means pretty much every week you'll have something new to say about them. Labour need a second year's resolution. Every time they open their mouth, big up something popular that they're doing. Doesn't matter what the question is, answer it, of course, but link it to something like this. Relentless positivity, please, and let's see if that works better than the negativity we had over much of the last 12 months. I suspect it will. But let me know what you think in the comments below. And for more content, you could subscribe to the channel or even join for access to streams and behind the scenes updates. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later.